Welcome to Wonderful Beauty, your new K-pop haven.
We're Ann and TJ, just your friendly second and third generation Nuna and Young, here to discuss random K-pop related topics.
With over 2 decades of friendship between us, we invite you on a nostalgic journey through the evolution of K-pop, from the iconic groups of the past to the hot stars of today. We'll share our unfiltered opinions, hilarious anecdotes, and insider knowledge.
So grab your favorite snacks, hit play, and let's dive into the world of K-pop together.
All right. So to continue this 17 series, we're going to do kind of like a retrospective of them, since they do have a lot of songs.
Yeah. So the purpose of what we're doing today is we're just going to look at really random videos that we kind of chose and argued with each other and dropped and picked up and dropped, just to kind of get a general feel of 17 style, which is really kind of hard to do because it does change almost album to album.
Yeah, which also is kind of a great showcase of how Woozy in general, right, being one of the main producer for 17 and written all these songs, and then all these members also having a hand in writing the lyrics or just having a hand in producing the songs. They can fit almost any genre of music, which is crazy to even think about, because usually K-pop groups have their certain sound to it, like ATEEZ has that certain sound to it. Super Junior also have a certain sound to it, right? But 17, they can fit any genre across the board.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. I was playing Rhythm Hive last night, and I was just playing random songs, and I decided to play Home Run, which I know is not a big song that you're fond of. I don't know why. It's better than Left and Right, but what do I know?
Nope, Left and Right.
And as I was playing it, I literally had not dawned on me until right then and there that that the song was in the style of swing music and big band music that was very popular in like the 40s and 60s. And like, which is kind of a really untapped genre nowadays, because like, you have Michael Bublé and everything, but I want to say like the last time that I really connected with a genre like that was when Christina Aguilera had her comeback in the 20s, and she had that whole swing and big band style. But even with like some of their newer stuff, like off their Spill the Fields albums, like we have a couple of like disco sounding songs and stuff like that, which like you said is just a testament to how talented Woozy and the other members are when they write these songs.
Yeah, definitely. And I also like how Woozy is not afraid to try these genres. I know the recent trend for music right now is, a lot of artists, doesn't matter which country they're from. Artists all across the board are kind of sampling, right? The old music, like back in the 90s, back in the 80s, they're doing these collabs, which is super great because it gives us, right, the older generation, a little bit of like the nostalgia to it, connecting to like the generation now. Because like, we'll be like, I remember when, like Fergie, right, did the one with the Jack Harlow, the glamorous one, but he changed it to First Class. I'm like, oh, I remember when Fergie did this. And, my kid would be like, nope, that's Jack Harlow. I'm like, no, it's not. So yeah, it's just really cool, just making that connection and then sampling, music from the past, and then Woozy just making it to like a whole new thing and making it kind of trendy at the same time and easy to listen to. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. You'll see that in the videos that we chose. We're going to divide this up into 2 parts. We're going to start with their debut, because you can't really do a retrospective without starting literally at the beginning.
Yeah, when they're scrawny.
Trust me, it'll be a secondhand embarrassment. It won't be as bad as Beast, but there were some decisions.
There definitely were.
So I think we should do what we always do. At this point, almost everyone knows who 17 is, but I think we should still give maybe some people who are a little in the dark a little info, and then we'll jump right into the first video. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, it's going to be very easy, very quick and short. So I'll just run through, just a general summary of 17. 17 was formed under Pledis Entertainment, and they debuted on May 26, 2015. So almost 10 years. Originally, because of the name 17, they actually had 17 members before it debuted, but 4 didn't make it through, hence why now there's only 13 members. So to make up, the number 17, we're going to do a little bit of a math problem. So we have 13 members, and they are divided into 3 teams, which is hip hop, performance, and vocal. So that's another 3, right? And they're formed as one group. So plus 1, 17.
Yeah. Again, here at Wonderful Beauty, we try to teach you something every single episode.
I love making I totally get it because a lot of people be like, the group name is 17. Why is there not 17 members? All the carrots love breaking down that math problem.
Which is understandable because you have groups that do have numbers in their names, but it usually is the same number of members. For example, you have SF9, which is Sensational Feeling 9. And before Lawoon left, there were 9 members.
Yeah, that is true. But nope, 17 want to be different. Well, I mean, they originally did have 17, trainees. Just didn't go through. Their fan club name is Carrot. Their official birthday for the fan club would be February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. So Carrot's pretty much a measurement unit for diamonds. And it's a reference also to their debut EP, 17 Carats. And the opening song for that is Shiny Diamond. So they're just kind of like bringing it all together, how Carrots, is shining, it's a shiny diamond in their life, leading the way through their idol journey.
It's really funny to explain to non-carrots what a carrot is, and it's a running joke in our fandom, the difference between the vegetable and the unit for diamonds. Because everyone, like Roseanne, our friend Rosie, was like, wait, your thing is a vegetable? Or they like Mamamoo? Like, no, completely separate thing, separate thing.
Is it a radish? But it doesn't help either, because when you go to the concert, people do dress up as like the vegetable carrot.
Yeah, and then they just had they had a beauty line collaboration that was literally called I Am Not Carrot, but the vegetable.
Right, Bonboni dressed up as a carrot, going, I'm not a carrot, and you're like, all right. And then the 13 members that make up 17 is S-Coops, Johan, Joshua, June, Hoshi, Wonwoo, Woozy, B8, Q, DK, Sunquan, Vernon, and Dino. So yeah, that's a lot of members, but I freaking did it. If I did it with Super Junior, I can do it with 17.
Now I need you to do it in fan chat mode, Hoshi speed.
Oh, that requires me saying their real names.
Yeah,
I said the government names.
I have a hard enough time remembering all 13 members, but you got people out here in synchronization to the song doing their government names, like...
Yeah, forwards and backwards. There's one song, or no, just a few songs that actually do it forwards and backwards. I'm just like, I'm done.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, I could never.
Yeah, and that's talent, though. That's why a lot of people also joke how carrots are like the 14th member, because they're like rapping and singing along to.
It's really true. Like, even minor things like when I was here at the San Antonio show, we had Monster, and something that, well, every stop had Monster, but we had the Halloween show, so it was better. All the carrots in synchronization did the screams for Monster.
I love that so much.
So starting off, we have their debut video, Adore You. This is very third generation, and I think it's funny to say because third generation broke a lot of molds that we had gotten with previous groups, such as Shiny, Super Junior, and things like that. So it's really interesting to kind of think about how third generation broke a lot of those stereotypes, because for one, you see less of the feminization of male idols.
That's true.
Which is, of course, not true when you see Johan, but that's a whole different conversation that we can have. But you also get a lot more of the like colored hair, more hip hop related things, moving away from like happier concepts, which you get with BAP and Monsta X, definitely. 17, on the other hand, they decided that they're going to go with the cutesy concept, which is funny because there is that running joke that 17 is the happy-go-lucky version of Monsta X, since they debuted right around the same time.
That's true. That was very true.
So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to see again how they started, because I haven't seen this music video in so long. So I'm just like, God, they're gonna be so skinny.
Just wait till you see the hairstyles. Just remember that.
Oh.
Hey yo. Yep. You know what?
Can we talk about the fact that Mingyu and Hoshi have not changed one bit?
I know, but then you look at their bodies, you're like, that's different. Face same, body different.
Right? Like, it's just wild to think that this was 10 years ago, almost, and a lot of these guys look exactly the same. What is that? What is going on here?
my God. They must be leaning so hard into the fact that he's obviously, a foreigner or half foreigner, like they're just trying to make it so obvious.
And the funny thing is they bring a similar style back with Hoshi and Eyes on You.
They did, but it also kind of brings back to the thing that like it was trending back then. Now it's gonna make it trending now. So.
We're 40 seconds into the video and we've already made fun of them twice. I want to mention the fact that why does Woozy get glasses but Wanwoo doesn't?
Maybe he had contacts back then and he just lost it along the way.
Sure, we'll go with that.
아니면 그냥 우스워 보이는 건지 지금 자리를 찾고 있다면 내 옷자리가 좋아 보여 너에게 관심 많아 신발 사이즈까지도 지금 너 때문에 불이나 나를 시키는 건 무리야 지금 너 때문에 불이나 모르겠다 어떻게 하고 그니까 내 말은 너를 다 알고 싶어 너를 노래해요 너를 노래해요
One thing that going back and watching this, one thing I miss is having these bridges with the two top vocalists in the group.
Yeah, they can spell it out. Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like, I kind of mentioned this to a friend the other day that I feel like 17 has kind of been resting on DK a little bit in the recent comebacks. And Sungkwan has been getting a little more screen time.
Lines.
But like,
yeah.
I personally feel as a character that they need to have them together more. Because again, these
really
are the two top vocalists, not only in this group, but also in the entire industry. And it's like, for some reason, Hybe is like, no, stand on opposite ends of the room. Go away. You're making everybody else feel bad.
Yeah, I do miss that. I want to refer to, I forgot which award show it was, but B2B with Eunkwon and Chansop, two being like the top ones. They're pretty much like the DK and Seungkwan of 17. They did great where they always standing next to each other, just harmonizing, belting up the high notes, the long notes, all that stuff. They do it so wonderfully and doing their own ad-libs to it. I do miss that. Being the fact that B2B is also part of the second gen as well. So I do miss that.
And I get it's harder when you have such a large group, but like, I kind of feel the same way with ATEEZ, to go off topic a little bit, because I feel like Jongho does not get enough time in the songs.
Yeah, it seems like they only have him there as the power vocal to do the, the higher, longer notes too, which I do appreciate, right? It showcases Jongho's vocals very well, but it seems like they only use him for that.
Exactly. Or like during the pre-chorus or right before the drop. Like with Ice on My Teeth, he's only got like, I think 4 lines in the entire song.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot less. I feel like he maybe had a little bit more with work, but I could be wrong though. But it did seem like he did have less lines this recent comeback with ATEEZ.
Anyways, back to the video before I go on another rant about my bias on bias trackers not getting enough time. That was not the point of this. I just wanted to bring up the fact that I wish Sungkwan and DK had more bridges and stuff like this together.
Right.
So that was their debut video, if you can't tell.
Yeah, right? The early days. I also like how in the music video, it's like that contrast that we mentioned before, how 17 and Monster X debuted around the same time. Obviously, Monster X has that darker, hip hop theme to it, whereas 17 is cutesy. I do like how in the music video, they're like spray painting the walls, and I'm just like, those
Right.
guys are trying to act like you're hot.
Oh, yeah. I do like that when all the members are together in almost every single shot, they're in the shape of a diamond.
Yes, I know, which is really, really cool because they're really leaning into that concept of like, this is kind of like the foreshadowing of how we want our fandom name to be. So really cute.
I like the little Dino thing here. I still haven't watched the video for Wait yet.
You should not, or you should, but you should not, because then you'll be like, damn it.
I mean, I've already seen the dance practice with him and Mingyu, so I also want to touch on the fact that I like that this is still included in their set list to this day. Because, which I guess is kind of common for a lot of groups that they will still include their debut song. Because when we saw Red Velvet, they did Happiness.
Yeah, they did.
When we saw Blackpink, they didn't have a choice. They only had 5 songs at the time. But I like that when we went and saw them, that they had this as both part of the set list and as part of the... What's it called?
The Carrot Time?
Yes, that part. Because it's so different from where they have gotten to now. Plus, it's really cute to see an entire stadium full of carrot bongs doing the whole wave thing.
Oh, yeah, the waving thing, yeah. But it's also kind of cool because that means their songs from the very beginning is still so popular. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I feel so bad, but I don't know ATEEZ's debut song, right?
So I don't know Pirate King either.
Yeah, exactly. So it feels so bad, right? Because it's not as memorable as Adore You.
Right.
It's hard to think of like songs that would be so memorable. I feel so bad. Super Junior's debut song, don't even remember. I remember 2PM's. I remember Beast. I don't think they ever refer way back to it. So, they definitely moved on past all that. Well, or Highlight, right? Had a reason to not to for a while, but even 2PM won't even go back all the way up to like 10 out of 10, I think.
Well, let's see going forward now that they have all the rights to their songs and stuff.
Right, exactly. So the next one we're gonna watch is Don't Wanna Cry, and it's my personal favorite. So I didn't really get into 17, like in the beginning, like get into them, like start standing them, only, heard their songs. Obviously through my kid, because, they were obsessed with 17 back then. I think Don't Wanna Cry is probably the first song where I was just like, oh, I should like get into them a little bit more. It's because of that. And what I love about this music video, or this start of this era in general, is that I think this is when the K, which is a Korean media, they started breaking more into the American market to kind of bridge over for it to be together. And this is around the time I believe KCON has just started.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I don't want to say 17 was one of the first artists to, be in KCON, like the very first one, but they're one of the first ones in general.
Oh yeah, they were definitely in an early one. We were really, really hoping that they would have been there when we were there, but they literally had Carrot Land the day before. So.
Yeah, which is not possible unless, you time travel. But I mean, for them to come up with a song which is completely different from, the cutesy ones, right? We did Adore You, we did Pretty You. It's very cutesy, very upbeat. This is like a change of pace to them for them, which made me love them even more. Has a little bit of like EDM in the background. And get this, TJ, this is about 7 years ago.
Golly, that's wild for me to think, because I've only been a stan for 2 years, which technically means I've been an auntie for 7 years. The rabbit hole, we use that term a lot here. I feel like our mascot should be a white rabbit because we use that term down the rabbit hole so much.
Yeah. Right.
But as anyone who has heard my story on our other 17 episode, I went from bleh, gross, disgusting, how dare you, to standing and down the rabbit hole so fast and so hard.
Yeah.
That it doesn't feel like, it's been such a short period of time. On a personal note for me, this is one of the songs that got me into actually like hardcore standing them. Because, you know, it was Cheers that started it and then Rock With You and Super. But I wasn't fully prepared to toss money at them until this video. And for me, what sold it was, one, it's not the cutesy concept, which everyone knows I'm Grinch. I don't particularly care for cutesy concepts.
Right.
But this is the video, probably their second most synchronized video, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And then another viral video that came out for 17 that pretty much everyone knows about is them being on Weekly Idol when they still did that 2x speed dance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were so in sync. Even the fact that they were doing 2 times the speed, the members going, why are we doing this? When will it stop? Why are we doing this? You know, but they're still so in sync, which is crazy because when you listen to this in one speed, right, you're thinking it's pretty fast because of that backtrack of it. But then when you do a 2 speed, you're like, oh God, that's really fast.
We don't have captions for this one, unfortunately. But I think everyone should be able to feel the sadness and heartbreak in this video.
Oh yeah, especially I wish they do have the captions for it though, because the part where it's between Wonwoo and Mingyu, that tiny little bridge they had, Lucy's lyrics for it was so sad. I was like, who hurt you? Who's this girl? Who hurt you? Mama, bear it up.
Oh, we should have done 2-1. That would have been a fun one.
No.
Maybe in the future we'll just do a Who Hurt You retrospective.
Who hurt you? Right. Yeah, and it was all shot in LA, or most of it is shot in LA.
I had no idea about that. Granted, the part of LA I saw wasn't scenic like this, except for Huntington Beach.
Right, exactly. But I think the desert part, though, it's either they drove out of LA for it, that, or they actually drove out to maybe Nevada close to it, because technically Nevada was only 3 to 4 hours away from Los Angeles. You know?
Interesting. That's another thing maybe we'll do in the future. We could do various geography related things for K-pop.
Yeah, definitely.
I wonder if this is the same desert that Work was shot in.
I don't know, actually.
Because they filmed that, from what I understand, they filmed that while they were out there for Coachella.
That might be true then, because technically Coachella is out in that area.
We'll have to do research and get back to everyone.
All right, let's go.
I know I'm biased, but I love when Wonwoo starts off songs because he has such that deep rasp that a lot the other members don't. Look at that synchronization already. They're literally just swaying back and forth, and everyone is on the exact same wavelength.
Definitely, like the same angle almost.
This is unrelated to this specific video, but it is really hard to go back and watch a lot of these videos now that I'm a DK bias, because now I'm noticing so many more things and I'm trying not to smile like an idiot, but it's so hard not to.
You know what? I can kind of feel that because obviously when I first got into 17, right, I was hardcore like Joshua all the way. Now that, you know, I have Dino as my bias as well, and I have like other records too, I know what Joshua's doing. Now I'm looking at everyone else. I'm like, ooh, what are they doing now?
Let's see if we can spot her looking at S-Coops, everybody. Also, this is one of my favorite choreographies that we're about to hit.
Yes.
The video heard me.
I know it.
So looking at the lyrics, because you mentioned this part, this is of course Google translating, so I could be completely wrong, guys. Keep that in mind. It seems that Wonwoo and Mingyu are opposing each other. Wonwoo's saying something, but Mingyu is his inner voice.
Right.
So what I have here is, I'm okay. I'm not okay. I don't want to see you. I miss you so much. I have to lie and say things I don't like. I have to do it because my heart doesn't listen as I thought. Come back, come back, come back. How can you live as one when you don't have half?
Yeah, that's who hurt you, Uzi? Who hurt you?
Man.
Yeah.
Is it the
same heifer?
Is it the same heifer that hurt Dino? Because let us know.
So much. I can't get over it, which is, I think, one of the main reasons why I fell in love with it, because I would just replay that over and over and over again.
Right. And again, going to the concept of, because as you mentioned choreography, I mentioned it as well. It's 13 men ranging from 5'5" to 6'2", who are all leg, by the way, all completely leg.
You see those legs?
And they are jumping and twirling and pirouetting and stuff like that. Stop it. Ah! Hold on, struggle bus. But this is 13 men who are ranging from 5'5", poor Woozy, to 6'1", 6'2" for Mingyu. And they're all leg. You could tell that they're all leg. They're all still very skinny at this point. And they're jumping and pirouetting and dropping to their knees, all without clashing it into one another. With the last one for part one that we're going to do another tearjerker for you guys. So, So this one is a personal favorite of both Anne and I's. Anne's actually the one who introduced me to this song. Kidult was written by S-Coops while he was on a mental health break. And the underlying story between it is basically an inner conflict with your inner child. That as you get older, you can feel that inner child kind of fading away. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like, as we get older, you got a job, whatever else, right? So almost that mysticism of having that imagination as a kid, it's kind of like that Peter Pan thing, You always have an imagination, inner kid, that sort of thing. It obviously disappear. I mean, it may come back if you yourself have a baby, a child, but it's not the same because you're still a parent, you're still an adult. And I think it resonates with us too, because, getting into K-pop kind of keeps us young. It really does. And also it's really cool because you look how K-pop is now. I mean, grandmothers are into K-pop, right? They're listening to BTS, they're listening to 17, 80s. I met so many mothers and grandmothers this past 2 to 3 years because of K-pop. It's so cool to see that. And then, it keeps them young, keeps them, like full of life almost.
Right. Yeah. And, I think for you and I, the song resonates with us so much because we had to grow up at such a young age.
Really fast.
Really fast. And I think as we've gotten older, because we're both in our mid-30s. Well, we will be in our mid-30s in a month and a day. It's like you said, I think, one, our friendship, of course, has helped keep us young. But again, us getting into K-pop and all that has really rejuvenated that inner child, that inner energy that we kind of had to push aside because life took over and we had to become adults at such a young age.
Exactly. And now I love to say this because we have adult money.
Oh my God, what was that meme that I sent you the other day about carrots? Carrots suck at listening because we have full-time jobs and responsibilities, but you know what we have? We have adult money. So we will sell out those stadiums.
That is very true. Yeah. We will buy those albums. We will buy those merch. Adult money.
Right. So this video, we are borrowing from somebody else just because we couldn't find one that had captions. And we think it's very important to have that translation to get the real feel of what the song represents.
And I also like to note everyone's vocals in this, amazing. And it's live too. So you can definitely hear, how they sing this song with so much emotions and kind of taps into them as well. They technically have to grow up, being idols and everything,
right,
getting thrown into this industry. So I'm sure it resonates with them as well.
Yeah. Expect a lot of pausing. I feel like there's going to be a lot of them in this one. What did they do to your boy? What is that hair?
What is that hair? What are those lips? I think this is also the same award show where they performed Fear. Because this is around the COVID times. This was during the COVID times, right?
Yeah, so this is when they did Kidult, Falling Flowers, and Fear. And I believe that there's no audience because it is COVID.
Yeah, okay. So if it's also a Falling Flower, that was their quote-unquote concept, their imagery of it as well, as the lighter hair or like color hair. And then they have like deeper red lips of it.
I get that, but this
wrong.
This is a Chicago wig.
The bowl cut that every Asian kid would ever have.
What is that comedian's name? That Asian comedian that has the bowl cut? What is her name?
Oh my gosh. I know she's Japanese, but I forgot her name. Oh, it's going to bother me so much. She's so cool. I love her, though.
She's so cool. Come on, Google.
Google
Asuko Otasaka.
Yeah, her. Yeah, I remember starting with an A. Yeah.
I apologize, ma'am, for mispronouncing your name, but I'm going to have to put a picture up and have it side by side because that was clearly their inspiration. The single pearl.
He might have another one on the other side, but we can never tell because he's always on that angle. But I just now noticed his earrings.
All right, this is my last dig at poor Joshua, but his facial expressions at that point did not help.
You know what? Also, feel so bad for Joshua. I love him so much, I promise. But he kind of, because of that single pearl earring, it reminds me of that Dragon Ball Z character too. What am I thinking of? He's a villain. I think he was purple.
Majin Buu?
That crazy. No, not Majin Buu. Majin Buu's pink. Wow, I sound nerdy when I said that. It was like, or maybe he was a good guy. Oh, move on. Doesn't matter. Just reminding me of Dragon Ball.
It pulled Beerus and Frieza, and it's neither one of them.
Oh well, it's gonna bother me. It's okay. We can move on and be serious about the song now.
So, I mentioned DK and Seungkwan a lot earlier. This song showcases their vocals so well, particularly DK. Seungkwan does a really good job in here too, but DK, you see this on a lot of videos about like top vocal moments of DK, top vocalists in all of K-pop. I may not use the terms correctly. Again, I'm not a vocalist whatsoever. I was instrumentalist, but his ability to go from his head voice down to his chest voice so effortlessly and still hit the notes is just amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like right here, up, down.
Yeah.
Effortlessly. That does not help with my issues with June and his soulless eyes.
Hitting that higher note is really good too.
Yeah, which is not, I would say, really, we don't get a lot of high notes out of Hoshi.
We really don't, but he does this every time he does happen to have a higher note, I believe, out of his vocal range. He does a wonderful like falsetto to it, where it's not annoying and brief and like airy or breathy.
A good example is in Fighting, he does the same thing.
Yeah, that is true.
Which is, we don't have Fighting on here. I actually took it off, but to be able to be confident enough to do that with a subunit that is your other members are Sunkwon and DK says a lot about Hoshi.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot about most of the members here, I think, because we had this discussion outside of the podcast where even though Wonwoo is labeled as a rapper, right, he still has a wonderful, like, singing voice, you know, with his own color to it. And then I also argued at the time how Vernon, you know, when he's singing live, is still really, really good. It's not, I saw this, not a meme, but like this video where it's like when you are the sub vocalist of 17, but you're still a very good vocalist and you sound like this. And it's just pretty much all the members singing their songs, like their solos or whatever, and they still hit it. Like it's still really good. Like anyone could have been easily a main vocalist for all we know.
Or even just, not even just that, because like we mentioned the three units, like there's the performance unit, which is technically the dance unit. But again, none of these men skimp when it comes to their dance moves or anything like that. It's not like those 5 members are the only ones who can dance in the group. Same thing with the hip hop unit. Like there are some members that are in other units that can rap as well. And we'll see that with the video that I chose for part 2 as well. Well, one of the non-hip hop unit members actually ends up rapping with S-Coops.
Yeah, and I also like how they always do Carrotland and they do the unit switch.
Oh, yeah.
It showcases everything so well because the recent one, the performance unit, did Cheers to You. And everyone did so well in Cheers to Youth, you know, with their own color to it. And then, you know, you have the hip hop unit doing the performance one, and they all can dance. I'll bet, you know, a little awkward, but they can still do it, right? Because they practice so hard for it.
The vocal unit's version of La La Lee. Hey.
Oh, God.
Him and his little...
I mean, this high-pitched rap.
So good.
Yeah, it's so good. But it also, again, it shows how even though they're in that set unit that they're in, they can still easily change back and forth if they wanted to.
We are not allowing this song to be very sad and serious.
We're not going to cry. We're not going to cry today, TJ. Get it, Ruby.
This harmonizing.
Okay.
All 13, yeah.
It's show
Mingyu doing his own thing. I need more of that.
Oh yeah, we need more of that in our life.
We do, like, such talented vocalists, and not only are they harmonizing, but you have DK who's switching back and forth between different octaves, and I'm actually getting a little teary-eyed.
It has happened, you guys. It has happened.
It's just, this song is so good. It has such a deep meaning to it, and then at the same time, you have not only the vocal sensations of all 13 members. It's just because this song, one, it's a great song, and it's got such a deep meaning to it. But at the same time, it shows the vocal prowess and talent of this group. Because, like, you have all 13 members able to harmonize instantly in tune. But then I just feel like the power vocals that you get from Seungkwan and DK make it such a much more powerful and emotional song.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which is why they're the main vocalists, right? Because they can put all that emotion into it.
Exactly. Give us more Seungkwan and DK together.
Please.
We have a couple more years before they enlist. Do it.
Yeah, I do want to mention too, though, that I guess Johan didn't have much lines in that.
I think
Just a little
I think him and S-Coops had the least amount during that song.
bit. Man, what a shame. Because Johan can also hit those notes too. I know that, so.
That's true. But that ending where Woozy says, "Let us be together like a kidult," or no, "Let us be together just as you are like a kid." Again, it's such a powerful song, the lyrics behind it. And I think when you know that S-Coops also wrote it while he was on a mental health hiatus also adds to the, I don't want to keep saying powerfulness, to the uniqueness, to the meaning behind the actual song.
Right.
Because again, as we mentioned, 17 gave up their childhoods to become idols.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
And then, I mean, S-Coops and all of them, they were a little older when they debuted. Think of it from his point of view, that this guy not only gave up his childhood, but he also became very responsible for 12 younger men.
Right.
And the kind of toll that had to take on him, and like him having to, which he has always stuck his neck out for the boys. He's openly criticized Pledis and Hybe. He's actually gotten them banned from ISAC because of one of the members falling because the track was unsafe.
Right.
So I think that just gives it a lot more meaning to being written by the leader of the group, who literally had to give up his own personal childhood to take care of these younger guys.
And I'm sure he also thought about too how, again, they all trained very young. They were supposed to debut in 2013, but because Pledis got bankrupt, they don't have good money, all these things, like they had to hold off their debut all the way up to 2015. So they held it off for 2 years. And then you have 17 members or 17 trainees, right, at the time. The youngest one was Samuel, which everyone probably know him now as a solo artist. And he kind of had his quote unquote breakthrough with the Produce 101. He was the youngest. I think he was like,
I think he was 10.
Or 10? Yeah, he was so tiny. If you guys see those like green room trainees that 17 did back then, Samuel, the tiniest little boy, that's him. He literally had to be almost like, I want to say like a dad, older brother, but I mean, he definitely looked out for Samuel a lot too. That's a lot
you
of
see that with a lot of the members, but again, I mean, S-Coops was what, 16, 17 when they started training? And then here comes
something like that.
And then here comes a 10-year-old that he's basically told, "Hey, this is your responsibility now."
Yeah. Which is crazy to think too, because he is the youngest sibling in his family. He has an older brother. Yeah. And now it's something like, you can't be a baby anymore. You gotta be, the adult. And he was like, okay, here I go.
So you have Monsta X, for example, who at the time of recording, their leader Shonu is 32 years old. He was born in 92.
Right.
And then their Maknae, I Am, is only 28 years old. He was born in 96. That's only a 4-year age difference between them. So, but then you have S. Coops, who is, I think at the time of recording, he's 30.
Yep, just turned 30.
And then their maknae, Dino, is 25, which, yes, that's only a year difference between him and Shonu. Think about the fact that there's 11 other people in that group, and they're all in between.
Yeah.
And if you've seen any of their content outside of them being professionals, they're not exactly the easiest boys to keep up with.
It's a lot. There's a reason why they do roll call with numbers.
I mean, just think about Nana Tour, them being in a completely foreign country without S-Coops, which, again, S-Coops had to shut off his credit card because the boys literally could not be trusted with it. Just in the first couple of episodes, you just see them. Dad's gone. So let's act a fool. Let's do what we want.
It's funny too because like Johan is known to be the Feist leader, you know what I'm saying? And then and the joke of it is that once the leader and the Feist leader is gone, the Feist leader would be Joshua, you know? It's like line of age order. And it's like it's still chaos.
It's okay, especially because once S-Scoop steps out, Johan and Joshua don't become mom and dad all of a sudden. They're in on bring up Monster X again. When Shonu's not there, Keon takes over, and Keon is very much he is very much mom. He plays in line and stuff like that. So, but I just think it gives the song so much more meaning to know kind of S-Coops' story and the fact that he was on mental health hiatus when he wrote this song. Not that anything takes away from it. Not even poor Joshua's styling in that video.
With one pearl earring.
I'm going to have to watch the rest of the video later on and see if the other one shows up at any point in time.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I saw it. I saw it when they were standing up, and then Joshua had his little solo again. So one is the pearl one. The other one is like the tiny little metal loop around his earlobe. That's pretty much it.
Boy. But so that was part one.
Yeah, definitely. And then we broke it up because we don't want this to be a 2-hour long podcast.
Yeah, we already had that problem with the last 17 episode.
I mean, but we covered all the bases. We covered your story, covered, the concert in general. It was just a lot to take in, though.
Well, I think that, again, speaks to, it's a testament to who 17 is, that it's so easy to get lost in conversation just talking about them. Even if we were spending time roasting on each other about getting bias wrecked, but, I
mean, it happens to everyone. I don't know if you've seen any reels or TikToks, but a lot of people were bias wrecked by Dino this time around. For some odd reason. I don't know, but...
I remember seeing a video from the Be the Sun tour, and it was, who's your bias going in? And everyone had their bias. And then, who's your bias now? And every single person said Dino.
Yeah, it's crazy how Dino kind of... there's a reason why I bias him so much. It's because he shines so well on stage. He has that personality, that aura of him. But it's just funny how, everyone is now starting to realize it.
Well, and as I mentioned in the last 17 episode, Dino became my bias wrecker from seeing him in the Follow Again tour movie. It's exactly like you said. He has such a star quality to himself, which I think is difficult as the maknae, especially in such a big group.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you literally, the lines of each song and everything, you pretty much only have maybe about 5 seconds, maybe 6, 7 seconds to put yourself out there, to make it memorable, to gain another fan that will bias you through and through. It's so hard.
And clearly Hybe understands the same thing that we're talking about, because they just gave him a dance solo at the Mama Awards.
Oh yeah, definitely. At the time of this recording, Na PD, he came out with the Game Caterers with the SM Town one, where they had a first generation artist all the way up to a 5th generation artist, right? Everything in between. It's super cool. Right. But Super Junior mentioned this really quickly, is that they also had 13 members, 15 members if you include the Chinese members as well. You only have 5 seconds to put yourself out there. After that, you're not as memorable because the next member is going to come in. So you have 5 seconds to sing your line, and make it memorable where people will actually remember you.
Right.
It's hard.
And Dino does it so well.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah. Started out so well to where everyone's like, Dino.
I don't know if they say it in that tone, ma'am.
I saw a lot of TikToks about it.
Goodness gracious.
But yeah, that is the first part. Lots of cutesy, lots of sadness for some.
Part 2 will bring up the vibe. I promise. Part 2 will bring up the vibe.
I hope so, because I don't want to cry. So yeah, so that is our first part of the 17 retrospective of Wonderful Beauty.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're new to Carrotland, let us know which of these videos got you to stan. If you're an oldie like Anne, if you're vintage like Anne,
I like that.
Let us know your opinions going back and seeing these older videos. You know, we have a thing here that we discuss called secondhand embarrassment, and you know, you can see a little bit of it when we watched Adore You. So let us know if you experienced that, or if you forgot what their old styles looked like, how small they used to be. We just like to engage with other carrots about this.
Yeah, or even like, you know, again, I stand Joshua through and through, but now that I'm starting to, you know, have the Dino as a bias, I have Scoops and Mingyu as my bias records. Like, are you looking back as well, changing members or having bias record, be like, oh, wow, they look like this back then, or even like, oh, wow, they did all that stuff too. You're starting to notice the other members as well. If you have that same experience like we do.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know that we're not the only crazy ones out there. Let's put it that way.
There we go.
And then, of course, guys, always keep streaming your favorite K-pop groups. Bye.